Yeah. We never got around to doing it.
Oh, wait, what?
I just bitch that nigga a favor. He's like, yeah, baby, I got you one nigga. Come with all. Alright, cool. What? I got you.
Hey, why is your voice a king just like this dude with the giant lips that can barely keep them open to make them form coherent words?
I found out almost. You know, about to see this dumbass shit. I was indoctrinated.
There goes that 2-minute warning. Yeah, that's over with already. Bitch. I gotta show the stars, y'all. Chicago Black Delegation podcast is a show dedicated to the reshaping and reclaiming of black culture in America. The intention of this podcast is to improve the conditions of blacks in America by way of platforming different ideas. At no point will the views shared on this podcast be it the show's title, conversation headers, individuals express ideas, or otherwise should be interpreted as an attack on other groups, but rather a means to a greater end for blacks in America. Views shared by individuals does not represent the views shared by the Chicago Black Delegation, its staff, or other guests unless specified. What's up, everybody?
Yo. Oh. No. I don't like jazz.
I try so hard around here. I try so hard to make things. Hey, I try so hard to be cool and shit, man. Yeah, man. How we feeling today, fellas?
Great.
All right, cool.
Good night, man.
Welcome to the Chicago Black Delegation podcast. I'm your host, HT, aka High I'm Thinking. And on this show, I select from my collection of thought-provoking brethren to talk about the social, economic, and otherwise issues that participate in the poisoning of black American culture. So if my guests can introduce themselves, starting with you on the left.
King.
Oh, I'm Dolo.
The best one at the group, Rob.
All right. Oh, Rob.
That's a Bob.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna call him Bobbert so we don't get him confused with that Bob. That's the original Bob.
Oh, so we got Bob, we got Rob. Well, I don't know which one is
Bobbert.
which, so.
He's Bobbert. Bobbert. Say it slow.
All right.
Bobbert. Bob.
Can we?
Hold on, wait. How many minutes we gotta wait before we use profanity? How many?
We done broke that. Anyway, hey, so purpose of this show, but the reason I gathered everybody today is talk about something that's pretty important to me, something that's been on my mind for quite a long time, actually. I don't want to break the ice, but I kind of more or less saying black power has been under attack of blatant racism, passive racism, and every shade of racism in between. Black power, in fact, has mattered more to our enemies more than it even does to us. So without you and us having this conversation, nothing will change. On this episode of Chicago Black Delegation, we will identify, discuss the influence, and give you the solutions to reclaiming the black power that matters. All right, fellas. More or less, this show is kind of about having conversations about serious matters. I believe that's in a sense reshaping black culture as we see, you know, as we more or less seen over the years, right? And I like to start every show off by asking everybody individually how do they identify the topic at hand. This episode being Black Power. So whoever want to start first, what do you believe, or how do you personally identify what Black Power is?
Well, I will go first. I kind of identify Black Power. It's unity. It's the ability to form groups and informed change. Like when we was together, you know what I'm saying? We had a lot of programs at one point in time. We had a lot of things that we provided for the community that we don't longer have anymore to this day. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff to get the kids activities, like to get kids into programs, to get them to go outside, to more sports activities. Right now, you know, kids are kind of stuck in front of a tablet, using that to kind of like teach their children. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of need to get back to that unity, those programs that we have for children, you know what I'm saying, to get kids to be more interactive, more social, learn about their heritage and stuff of that nature.
Dope.
For me, Black Power is kind of synonymous with Black excellence, right? So you know, I like to define it as like something that's eternal, meaning that like it's unable to perish, it's forever. It doesn't have a beginning or end. So with that being said, we can look at stuff like something notable like the civil rights movements of the 60s and 70s, right? Something very easy to start with. Slavery obviously built this country. We can go there. There's a lot of examples of it. We can talk about Stacey Abrams, who was able to do something that Obama couldn't do, and that was flip Georgia.
Split Georgia.
On racist places.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's a lot of examples of it, but it's kind of synonymous for
That's
me.
definitely power right there. Definitely.
Yeah, the power to literally sway an entire state, right, from being traditionally red to blue, just from the power of one woman's voice, right? Or at least, you know, heavily influenced. Though we don't have to attribute the entire group of people to just Stacey Abrams. You know what I'm saying, telling everybody to vote blue. But the fact of the matter is, when black people choose to vote, things happen, right? So our voice do matter. There's power in our voices. There's power in our votes, right?
I think for me, it's just self-accountability, self-improvement, working from the inside out. You know, stop playing victim. Mm-hmm. I definitely think black people play victim a lot. It's always somebody else's fault why we do something. It's a white man's fault I pulled up on somebody and shot them. That's just silly. I think we got to start looking inward and working from the inside out. I think that would be black power.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Like, granted, everybody start taking self accountability for their actions and stop looking for the out, stop looking for the quick out, and then actually applying what they know and what they were raised on, and using, you know, striving towards higher greatness, right? More or less. So, what was you? Am I getting it wrong?
No,
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to direct everybody's attention to the screen here, and I would give my interpretation of what I believe to be black power. I typically like to look at words, and I like to simply just break down the meaning of the words individually. That's more or less how I define. That's pretty much how I go about life, right? If we're gonna operate under this English language and stuff like that, it's best that we completely understand each and every word inside and out, more or less. You'd be surprised how many debates I've won just from understanding the meaning of words and in comparison to what other people thought they understood the words. So here I typed in what's Webster's definition of black, and here it says of or relating to any of various population groups of especially African ancestry, often considered as having dark pigmentation of the skin, but in fact having a wide range of skin colors. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the best definition I've seen on the net so far. Some other definitions kind of was talking about the color, like the actual color of black, and other was just talking about they did make note of our groups of people and stuff like that, but this one actually made note to include the fact that we come in different colors and stuff. Like all of us here more or less kind of the same color except for this guy. He's pretty damn dark. I can barely see him. He blends in with the couch. But
Poor Bobbage.
but more or less, yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize, man. Sorry, man.
No, that's you. You good?
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's get back to focus, Robert. Focus, man. But yeah, so like I said, we there's a lot to kind of take note of when we refer to black, because here on the Chicago Black Delegation, we have to understand there is different meanings to words. There's synonyms. This is the English language we're talking about. One word has multiple meanings, but if we're gonna get across the message, we're gonna get across. It's important for us to define the words and define what we mean when we are discussing such words, right? So, more or less, it's referring to the black diaspora, right? So let's go to the word power. Power is the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality. Example here is the power of speech. So when we kind of put these two words together, these ideas together, we can just, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? We can just say it's the black people's ability to do something or act in a particular way, right? If you want to throw this part in, especially in the faculty or equality. So, and that's more or less how I define black power, right? It's the ability to do something, the way, whether it be through money, whether it be through our own strength, or whether it be through unity. All of these things, in a sense, come together to form this idea, this concept of what we label as black power. So there's some interesting things that I kind of seen that I know has developed over this concept, this idea that is black power. As a matter of fact, I believe a lot of people understand our power better than we do, right? So I want to turn to my co-host here, and I want to ask, how does your interpretation of black power influence America and Black America? Anybody that want to start first?
Well, I think as long as black excellence is always around, we're eternal. Like I said earlier, right?
Eternal.
We imprint ourselves in America. Can't forget us, no matter what happens, whether we're here or gone. You're always going to have to talk about black people. And I mean, it's kind of to piggyback off what you just said. I mean, it gives us a certain leverage if we could use it right.
If we use it right.
It's a saying in politics: quid pro quo. You do me a favor, I'll do you a favor. We need to start operating under that.
That's very true.
I mean, we try, but we do the favor and we always get left behind. You know what I'm saying? We do these favors, and when it's time to, wash our backs, niggas get left in the dust.
How you operate under a favor regiment when the game is rigged?
I mean, that's how it always been. It's just the problem is when we ask for our favor back in return, it never.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but other people get their favors though. They get their favors.
No, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I'm asking him, like, you're saying you scratch my back, I scratch yours, but the game is rigged. We can scratch their backs all day.
Yeah, but you need my help to win the game, right? You have opponents. It's red versus blue, right?
Yeah, man, listen, black people be simping. All right, we'll sit there and be all joyful, and all races are welcome to be. They can come to the cookout, or blasey, but they don't do that for us. So what would be the point?
I mean, that's to piggy off what you said earlier. We hold them accountable, right? We remember these instances of you screw me over, right? And then we say, well, you know what? Let's see how your buddy, the Republicans, act.
Yeah.
Let's see how you Democrats don't like being in power, right? I'm pretty sure you want power. I mean, they got the Senate right now, right? They got the president. They have a lot of legislative power, and I'm pretty sure they don't want to give that up, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I like something that kind of spoke out to me, what you just said, Kanji. Holding, well, I think Dolo said that, but holding them accountable. Like if we are, yes, I would definitely agree that when we hold ourselves accountable for our own actions, we definitely will open up additional options for us as a group in America. With that, also one of those options is going to be the ability to understand or learn how to hold other people accountable. Now, how we go about holding other people accountable is kind of up to our power, right? Because like there's a difference between trying to go on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, and get what they call it, the Twitter fingers. You kind of just start typing some stuff, and then you get a backing behind you, and everybody start resharing and retweeting and all that stuff. Man, that stuff don't work, bro. My thing is, if we can more or less work towards a system or a strength that actually holds people accountable, or holds other groups accountable, we more or less can practice a quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. Yeah, I'm but yeah, we can better practice that, right? When we start learning the game better, right, and learning how to not to let ourselves get ran over by these fast talking politicians.
And again, remember the order is: you do me a favor, I'll do you a favor.
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody else?
The problem with that statement is doing such said favors will put us in a position that they don't even want us in. So why would it even help us?
Hold on, you kind of confused me though. You said if we do what again? Say it again.
Do the favors, and it puts them in a position they don't want us in. Why they will help us?
Oh,
so basically, they're never going to help us because they don't want us in a better position. So they will always manipulate us and trick us and say, "Well, we're going to do this for you. Do this. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you." And black people have been played like countless times from countless presidents, and we always do it. You know what I'm saying? So Joe Biden did his. Like everybody was saying, Joe's a different guy. Joe's not Joe what he was in the past. Motherfucker be racist for 50 fucking years. And all of a sudden, hey, it's not cool to be racist anymore. You gotta like black people now. And he's supposed to like black people. And one of the first things he did was take $50 billion away from black colleges. One of the first things he did. That was like one of the first, third day on the fucking job.
That's it. That's it. Told you everything right there, boy.
That was he said, hey, let's take this money from these niggas. Hey, we cannot have that shit. We went from 50 to 4. 50 to 4 billion for everybody to spread out for all the black colleges. How you supposed to do that?
It's tough.
But I'll answer your question directly. So here's my thing, right? You threaten them with the crab bucket mentality. We've been living in hell. Black people, we know how to. We kind of thrive here, right? Like we've closed the wealth gap by less than $16,000, despite everything we've been through, right? And again, they want power. They don't want to be in the same position we're in, right? So we threaten them with that same mediocrity. You won't have any power unless you fuck with us.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't help that we kind of more or less the cash cow or like the workhorse for their wealth, right?
I can't even say that no more. You see now they kind of shifting their focus towards the Hispanics. That's why the Democrats are trying to use these Hispanics and all those illegal immigrants
and
to make those citizens so they can make those
and LGBT.
You're trying to hold, not you. I agree with you. Your thing is to hold power over the heads of people who already have power. Like you're not going to be in power because of us, and that's not even true.
We was a big reason Joe Biden won.
Big reason.
Yeah, you're holding to Joe Biden. I'm talking about as a whole.
When you talk about the Democratic Party, we give the Democratic Party.
Yeah, this is politics.
You see what I'm saying? So we give them power. Now, but I'm saying we're losing our usefulness because now they're focused on another.
That's the fair point.
And that is the problem. Black people are about to lose that power. That little wiggle, that whatever we believe we have, we're about to lose that to the Hispanics. You see what I'm saying?
You are going down on the pecking order. That is correct.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's looking like is going to happen.
So as far as my interpretation, as far as what I believe is, my mouse. Okay, I want to kind of show everybody a video here as far as what I believe to be a big problem in this this socioeconomic dilemma that black people have found ourselves in that was strategically actuated by not naming names, but we're gonna call them our enemies. But check it out.
2. Unjust distribution of wealth. The root of the problems for black advancements in America is the unjust distribution of our national wealth, power, and resources. Whites own almost 100% of our nation's wealth, power, business.
I want to stop it right here just to say that I do want to. Yes, we can say the white people own about a little over, quite a bit over 90% of the United States wealth in America. But I would like to also say that it's not among those whites. It's not just white people that's more or less taking advantage of this superpower that we know that it be as black power. You feel me? So they just we can white people are in position right now, but best believe there's other people even within our community. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially working towards the demise of us as a people.
And all levels of government support and resources. This monopoly was created from centuries of exploitation and expropriation of slavery and black labor. A slave life was committed to producing wealth and comfort for their white master. Black people learned very quickly after slavery that unless you have money and power, your freedom is only theoretical. Black people would have a very hard time pulling themselves up by their bootstraps because local ordinances and social sanctions in the North and South restricted free blacks from earning competitive incomes. The socioeconomic inequalities that existed between white and blacks during and shortly after slavery have now become structural problems that are very difficult to dismantle.
Very, very, very difficult to dismantle. People, there's a lot of people out here that, this simple conversation started by actually Dr. Clyde Anderson, a black economic genius, to be honest with you. He wrote this book, Black Labor, White Wealth, for the purpose of exposing more or less how whites or dominant societies have more or less taken advantage of the sweat of the black people to make, vast riches off of, and this the in acknowledgement of this simple concept is just sprout out of control and then cause a lot of new what's the word is opposite of nuance, just ignorant statements regarding us as a people and what lacking contributions have we provided for America, so today we look at the culture and you can look at Chicago, blacks in Chicago and just urban neighborhoods all around the world or in America in general, and you kind of see a lot of people just more or less living in borderline destitution, right? We see a lot of violence, a lot of poverty, drugs and stuff like that. You name it, every bit of self-degradation possible is all under in one community a lot of the time. And what people kind of fail to realize is this is all was crafted by design. You feel me? Black people are the only planned minority in America, right? And with that said, there's a lot of, essentially a lot of, I wouldn't say prizes, but with this reality comes a lot of things because it's simply going to happen, and it's simply the things that I mentioned already. And for the simple, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about just being the first or the only planned minority, and the backlash we face despite this essentially what would you even call this
sabotage?
Perfect. Sabotage. I can't. Yeah, what do y'all think about the sabotage that was actuated upon black people?
What is planned minority?
Basically, to keep you as a minority. So things are set in place to always keep your numbers short.
Yeah. So when I say planned minority, it was we were growing in the South post Emancipation Proclamation. We were growing in population. You know what I mean. And then with us growing the population and us also sticking together within our communities and stuff like that, because racism was as crazy as it was, we formed groups amongst with each other. We formed communities, we formed neighborhoods that essentially created economic systems that bounced off of each other to grow our communities. So when you as a government, right, when the government actually pitched in and actuated like actual laws to kind of keep us down, like vagrancy laws as far as keeping us, how did that go? If you weren't employed by a white man by like a certain time, you was actually you was going to jail and stuff like that. Like that's just one of the examples. Like the 13th.
A black man couldn't employ another black man, so you had to be employed by a white person.
Exactly.
So you had to find your job by so many days. If not, you're going to jail.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's tough, man. And
people forget that shit. You know, that shit wasn't too long ago. And people, when you go back to the 60s, 50s, and all that shit, you know, there was a lot of fuck shit that happened to black people. Like I told you, like my great grandma, she picked cotton. Like, was picking cotton. You know what I'm saying? I can talk to a generation of people that actually pick fucking cotton and work for like slave wages. You see what I'm saying? So when people say this shit, you know, that shit's so long ago, but it's not. It's technically only a few generations. You can, if you had good relatives, you can actually talk to a certain generation where they went through certain things that was just inhumane. And when we talk about reparations, they always say we just asked for a handout.
Yes, sir.
Not that we asked for a handout, it was asking what's owed to us.
Yes, sir.
Because they forget that all their ancestors and all your people prospered off reparations.
Yes, sir.
We gave reparations to motherfuckers we didn't even fuck with. Like,
yes,
we
sir.
didn't even do shit to.
We still giving reparations
You know
out.
what I'm saying?
We still giving
give
reparations.
You see what I'm saying? And that's just crazy. But when black people say, well, we're old, oh, you're just begging. All you guys begging. You're just begging. You're begging. But your ancestors was begging. They all got something. Everybody was begging. Everybody gets a piece of a cut of this pie. If we look at the war in Ukraine, we done gave them damn them billions, trillions of dollars for their own war. Their own personal war. But they tell you there's no money that can be given for black people for restitution. But we watched them countless of times give away trillions of dollars to other ethnicity groups, other fucking countries. Countless times for other problems. But nothing can be done for the problems of black people in this country because they don't want nothing to be done. They like us in the place where we're at. You see what I'm saying? It's not that we're always not holding ourselves accountable for it. We do. We work hard. We try to achieve things. But there's always roadblocks in our path. These other ethnicity groups do not experience those type of roadblocks. They should get actually removed. Like they say, it's best to come to this country than be of this country. Because there is no benefit for people of your color in this country for you, technically, because the way they block things for you.
And that creates a wedge in between the races.
So you don't think a lot of them roadblocks are self-imposed?
No, because we ain't the ones made the rules. We didn't put the roadblocks there. You're talking about mental things that are personal things that you may put on yourself. I'm talking about beyond that. I'm talking about when you're putting the work in and doing what you need to do.
I mean,
and there's things that's blocking you.
Like systematic.
Yeah, systematic.
The systematic thing is getting played out.
But it's not getting played out. I can give you an example right now. My mother's friend is trying to open up a marijuana business, right? Okay, she did all her paperwork, did everything right. Then they come with a new stipulation because she's a woman. And they said because she's not of the military or some bullshit. I forget the whole reason why they blocked her from getting this marijuana business. Just because they couldn't stipulate, they found whatever they can to stop a black person in Chicago from owning a marijuana business. It's only technically 2 black people, I think 2 or 3, out of all these dispensaries that's open throughout Chicago. Every fucking white person that came and they didn't open up them a joint, they got great locations. You know, if we do get a location, we get the shittiest locations. You understand what I'm saying? That's just not fair. That's a form of roadblock. When you do all your due diligence and your proper paperwork and everything, they come with another stipulation. Because I know everybody's not of the fucking military that got these loans. Everybody don't have somebody that's you know what I'm saying, that's of the military to get these loans. But why all of a sudden when this black woman tries to get this, you hit her with this new stipulation that nobody ever knew about? When she's a person that does her due diligence and understand everything was supposed to be good. We supposed to be signing papers. The dispensary supposed to be here. But then they find another way to roadblock it because she's a person of color. You know, this happens all the time. Like when Kevin was trying to buy his building,
It was difficult because he was black. You see what I'm saying? When white people put things on their names and they front of paper, things go a little bit smoothly. It always have. That's just the nature of this thing.
Okay. But I still think. So, I mean, the game is rigged, right?
Okay.
And that's fine and dandy. And so I agree with you to an extent. But, again, a lot of roadblocks are self-imposed. You know what I'm saying? Because only in our communities are we throwing trash everywhere. Whose fault is that?
No. They do it in other communities, Rob. They just actually ask people to clean that shit up.
That is true. That is
Okay,
true.
stop. That's fine, but this trash is still coming out of my hand and on the ground.
It doesn't. No, the reason why you complain about it because there's no jobs in place for them people to clean up your trashy ass.
Or
neighborhood.
the people in the community don't put trash on the ground.
But they do. Everybody throws trash out the window. I've seen it in countless neighborhoods. Like, have you traveled? I travel in countless neighborhoods. I've seen people do litter all the time. But you know what they actually have? Cleaning crews. It's literally people, they don't even fucking rake leaves. You know what they do with all their trash in the yard? They push it to the street. And a cleaning company comes pick up all that bullshit. They pick up, they don't have to put the shit in bags.
So you saying that don't exist in any black neighborhood?
In any city, inner city black neighborhoods, no. Now, if you're in the black suburb, possibly yes. Of a wealthy, yes. Of
Yeah,
a wealthy
Madison.
yes. But not in the inner city, no. They have cleaning crews, but they only clean the E-ways. They don't clean the neighborhoods like how these other people clean these other neighborhoods. There's jobs in place to upkeep their neighborhood. These motherfuckers cut the grass in the snow.
Okay, but that's still taking. See, that's the thing with accountability. It's like
No, it's not accountability. That's the neighborhood, and the taxes was brought into the neighborhood, the money. That's why they neighborhoods look that way.
So
It's
basically, you're saying it's their fault for not providing us with a cleaning crew to keep our streets clean. That's synonymous with you blaming other people while
That's
you
not
don't.
blaming because you're saying the reason why our neighborhoods is trash is because we just throw trash. I'm saying everybody throw trash. The reason you don't see it in other neighborhoods because there's somebody to clean it up.
But that still sounds the same thing. Your thing is like, well, they doing it, so we should be able to do it. We should have what they have, or we be different and don't throw trash down on it.
Are you saying that we should work harder because the goal is to have clean streets, right?
Right.
So, like, in order for us to have clean streets, we have to work harder in order to keep our streets clean. That's kind of the problem, right?
What the hell is hard about not throwing trash onto the
I
street?
see you litter a lot. I literally watch you throw whole buckets of food out your window.
I mean, still.
No,
just
stop,
in general, though.
Stop. Because you're talking about a problem that you're a part of the problem. That's just crazy, bro.
Bro, I'm speaking in generalities, and it's a podcast.
No, but
so
I'm
we're gonna
just
speak
saying.
in
I know I'm just saying. You're
making it personal.
But how? I have to make it personal because you're a
Speaking
part
in
of the problem.
generalities.
You're asking, why do black people just can't throw trash out their hand? Did he not ask that question? Why do we throw trash onto the floor? Why do you throw trash onto the floor?
Okay.
Sir? Answer the question.
I'm asking you a question on a general black population of why is it that you're saying that
I told
their
you.
fault?
I gave you a reason. And I
Okay,
answered.
right, but you're making it personal. Okay.
I'm not making it personal.
Did you not?
You is
just-
making it personal.
No,
You ask them directly, why do you do
Because
it?
But that's
it's
the-
because
I understand.
Because I know this man.
but-
He's
No,
talking
but you
about
don't- you don't- you don't-
of
technically-
throwing trash.
technically you
out
don't-
the window.
Hey, technically, you don't have to know him, though. You know what I'm saying? Because he.
I don't have to know him.
No, I do understand what you're saying. You do bring up a good point, but it's just that anybody can come along and say the exact same thing he's saying, but you don't know them. So if you can't beat this argument right here and there, somebody else can come along and just
No,
take
I
up
was saying the
another
same thing
argument.
about most likely I catch you littering one day. So why you throw it out your head? Why? I got you, bro. I got you. Sit right there. I see you Saturday. I got you.
Well, all right. Well, he has a point, Kanji, but he also has a point too, Ken. All right, you know what? We gotta move on from this. But so my thing is, what anybody else want to kind of add to this whole influence of like essentially weaponizing Black Power, or I think the conversation we was kind of having up to this point was how they're minimizing or how they're essentially how would you word this? They're trying to control Black Power, right? They're trying to minimize the strength of Black Power by way of attacking our population, by attacking our income. They even making attacks at our voting power. You know what I mean? They try, like, some people trying to say that these people's votes don't matter like that.
Yeah,
Like
they doing that in Georgia.
take Republicans for that for it. Like, take Republicans for example. They don't think they need the black vote, so they feel like they don't. We can't enforce try this quip pro. Help me out again.
Quid pro quo.
Yeah, you got it. We can't practice this with them because they essentially not gonna listen. You know what I mean? And then Democrats, they act like they listen, but then what's really coming from that? You know what I mean? And like, I've had conversations with like flat out Democrats, especially that to say, I've had conversations with Democrats and they say the exact same thing. Oh yeah, Democrats promise us a lot of things and they've delivered more or less nothing. You know what I mean? And a lot of the conversation. Now we will have a conversation about voting and politics and specifically, but it's not going to be this podcast especially. So if you got something to say about black people and its relation to Democrats, please sound it off in the comment section. So like I said, we was having this conversation about how they were essentially trying to downsize the strength of black power, right? Okay. So I would say with us, and I feel like this is strategic. I obviously it's strategic, but I feel like the results, not the results, but the essential outcomes or the repercussions of our black power being essentially minimized without our direct influence is gonna have like massive ramifications, right? So what do you guys think? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What do y'all think were to happen had our black power run rampant? You know what I mean? Like it was just chosen to flourish. Like say blacks in America were replaced with Asians or something, or like any other nation, and that they didn't have that our oppressors, right, didn't share the same animosity towards this replaced group. You know what I mean? And instead let them just essentially run free and like to their and just practice capitalism and vote and all this other stuff without say it again.
No redlining.
No, wait a minute. Are you saying? Okay, I got lost in your question. It almost sounds like you're saying, "What if we were replaced by another race?"
I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, for some reason, there's like there's some sort of an animosity against blacks in America, right? So if blacks didn't exist in America and instead we were replaced by Asians who are not like
it would be the same thing.
You think it'd be the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, so you say they'll actually still come up with all these laws and stuff like that, and all these systemic oppressions.
Black people are not the only people that deal with racism. Like it's crazy. Black people believe this. I can't believe that the history has shown it. So if let's say the whole diaspora, the slave trade didn't happen to us, right?
Okay.
They left us alone. They didn't bother us. Hey, those some nice people over there and they little rags and stuff like that. They doing their thing. But they said they went over there and grabbed some Indonesians. It'd be the same thing. Doesn't matter. There's always going to be racism. Racial superiority is always going to exist. Everyone thinks they're better than someone to some degree.
Yeah. Okay, but we kind of it's not semantics, I don't think, right? But that's not really answering my question. Like my question is, had systemic oppression never happened to us in America, where do you think black Americans would be sitting today? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you talking about if we got left alone over there?
No. If we were left alone here, like if slavery still happened, right?
Okay,
sure.
Slavery didn't pick us.
They gave us reparations. They gave us an economic foundation.
They did what we did for other
allowed
people
us to flourish, right? Meaning like there was no redlining and it wasn't illegal for us to read.
Yeah. Education. Some people's grandparents never even.
Like we was able to live like normal lives like everybody else and like, you know, build for our families and build for generational wealth and whatnot.
Hold on one second. Let me show you something. Steve. Yeah. Follow me, Steve. You see this right here? That right there. Had this motherfucker never been burnt down, right? That's what I'm talking about. So, had Black Wall Street never been burned down, where would we be sitting at? Like, and mind you, let's not forget, Black Wall Street wasn't only Black Wall Street in America, right?
I know this is a little off subject. Did you just tell that camera to follow you and they did?
That's Steve. Man. You know what Steve is, baby.
Smart camera, it moves.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you get iRobot, don't call me. No, the man did not do-
Hey man, hey,
I'm
I'm
just
trying to
saying.
be cool with him. Hey, I'm gonna have, y'all gonna know Steve. Steve gonna be floating around my shoulder, zapping all my
Blue man
homies,
right
zapping
now.
all my enemies.
King Bass gonna get the fucking hologram. Now that is the right question. Like,
I thought you wanted me to follow you.
no, okay, so typically with so let me re-gauge the question. Slavery happens, they bring us over here. They said they were more sympathetic and be like, all right, our fault, man. We ain't mean to grab y'all and do what we did. Here's money to get y'all back on your feet.
Do you think things now with like this whole problem?
I mean, it would be different. We'll
It wouldn't. We I think we'll have more, but racism is not going anywhere.
Oh well,
We're still,
racism.
even if they were to give us and we keep saying they. I don't know.
We're gonna say they. We're gonna say they.
I honestly don't agree with. Well, that's.
I mean, you just say the government. The government. I mean, that's what.
That's fine.
It'd be the government.
So if the government were to do that, they would still monetize what we do and don't do. You know what I'm saying?
But that's us working together and as Americans too, though, because we're gonna us being Americans and us paying taxes, we're gonna have to do business with people we don't want to do business with, regardless. That's paying your bills, right? Okay. So even like I say all this stuff about like, hey, support black business, balance your make sure your local economy. I'm sorry, make sure the money put in your local economy is bounced 5 to 10 times within your community before it exports out to other communities and stuff. All of these things, I say all of these things, but we still have to be grounded in reality to understand that we still got to pay our bills. We still got to give money to the things that we give our money to, right? I mean, like I said, I love, I want people to support black business, but shit, I want some tacos now and again, right? You feel me? So yeah, just like, but you essentially kind of get what I'm saying, all right? Just
yeah, pretty much. What would we be? I think we'd be better off, but in the same predicament.
Better off, but still in the same predicament. Yeah. But we got more money though, right?
I doubt that. You say the same predicament. All those things that put us in those predicaments wouldn't happen. Like you wouldn't have the crack in the '80s. You wouldn't have the 3 strike laws, the mass incarcerations of black people. None of that would never happen.
If they gave everybody reparations, you actually believe.
But everybody did get reparations. We're the only ones that didn't.
No, he's speaking hypothetically.
No, I know, I understand. I'm saying they gave us and left us alone, been more lenient on us, right? And certain things would never happen. That's what I'm saying.
It'd still be monetized. They're not going to just, here you go, do what you want, because then you have the potential of rising in power.
I mean, but they kind of did, because who's technically in power in this society that's going to rise to the power is Asians.
No, but what I said, they're not.
I mean, if you look at the wealth and the way they are the top chamber.
Asians are making the most money.
They make the most money. They make the most money.
But you misunderstanding the question. The thing is, we brought it to America. They were more lenient. They're not as Jim Crowish as they are. Oh, they're not as Jim Crowish as they are, and they gave us reparations and whatever have you. I think we would be better off than what we are, but we still be in the same predicament. There'll still be systemic racism. They'll still monetize what we can and can't do in terms of schools and media and et cetera, et cetera. It would just be a little better.
I say a lot better. You say little, I say a lot. I mean, if it's a little, then that's what we got now.
So you have to understand, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And those in power want to stay in power. They're not going to. They're going to monetize everybody. So even if they were to give us reparations and black businesses start popping up everywhere and people start moving on up, you're going to move up however far they want you to move up.
I mean, that's always been a thing, but then you can break through. But the problem is you can break through, but you have to bring a group.
You'll break through when they say you will. There's not going to be no you break through and you broke the mold. You're not trying to break anything.
What about the juice, bro? Like, what about like what you know what I mean by that, right? Like those are a group of people that essentially hold a lot, and I mean a lot of power in America, right? Whether we talking about owning the
They got
banks,
like the most billionaires.
talking about the Hollywood, a lot of stuff, and these people don't see themselves as white people, right? They see themselves as Jedi people. They identify themselves by their race. This is what Adolf had a problem with them when he wrote his little letters and stuff like that. So it's like they were that example of essential people that were let to flourish after they received their reparations, and they used that money to capitalize it to
Empower themselves. To make
themselves.
sure that Hitler shit never happens ever again.
Yes. So that's kind of an example, because I would argue that the fact of the matter is, there's much more of us than it is Jedi. And if we were given the opportunity to make and capitalize off of ourselves, especially with the natural talent that we've been blessed with over centuries and stuff like that. If we had we had the opportunity to monetize ourselves and us profit off of ourselves and let that essentially compound on top of each other, that along with generational wealth being actually not being tampered with and stuff like that in our communities. I mean, this concept, what I just pointed to you, this Black Wall Street, it'd have been Black Wall state somewhere in a couple places, feel me? And it had got to the point where I don't know. What real quick? Mm-hmm. It's like it had got to the point where what happened to Kyrie Irving, right? Somebody shared a tweet. He shared a tweet of something that they didn't like, and the world came down crashing on Kyrie Irving. Feel me? Yep. And it's to the point where he had to do a monkey dance to get his stuff together. We got people out here that's still living well after disrespecting blacks, right? And nothing. I mean, sure, they probably got some slaps on the wrist. Some of them probably lost their job, but they still living good. They still. What's that dude name? George Zimmerman. This dude, he made a not a Kickstarter. It was something, whatever those Patreon, whatever that was. GoFundMe. He made a GoFundMe. Dude he became a millionaire off of a GoFundMe for killing a black man. Feel me? And
a black boy. He wasn't even a man.
My bad. You got that right.
Is that why did he actually put that in the GoFundMe? Hey, I shot this boy.
No. He needed he had to GoFundMe for his lawyer, but he's rich. He didn't really need it. But it was the simple fact that so many white people was happy about what he did and felt like he did a justice to society for killing a little black boy in a hoodie with some Skittles. They funded him millions of dollars. It was countless people. They was proud of what he did. You see what I'm saying? It just shows you the hate and then what type of power, what type of power rally behind that type of hate.
Yeah. And so my thing is, had we had some Black Wall Streets running around here, right? Had black people had real power and real influence by way of our
like
Jedi, like the juices, and then like I said, had this been a reality for black folks, what kind of monkey dance do you think this man had to do to even get his job back? And his job was much more insignificant than what Kyrie Irving was doing, because Kyrie Irving was making people millions of dollars. This dude George Zimmerman wasn't making anybody anything, but they liked him so much that the people came to rally together and made this man a millionaire, and that's a problem. So I would argue.
So how do you?
Go ahead.
How do you think the Jedi came to power?
They got the reparations, bro. They got their reparations, and they
had that before. They used their money, and they combined it, and they were strategic, and they capitalized on certain industries, and they withheld those industries
and groups. And groups.
They don't let nobody infiltrate what they do. You can buy, you can do what you do, but you won't own none of this shit. We will always own it.
So let me ask you this, King. Remember, it's a podcast, generalities. All right. Yeah. Let's say the world wealth is divided amongst all ethnic groups. And we'll keep it blacks, Mexicans. Well, the whites already have it. What we got? Asians. That's what it is.
What else we got in there? We got Germans. So it's all type of different.
I mean, I'm trying into this. Well, we'll say big four, right? We'll say the big four. I'm pretty sure way more, but
I mean, big four would be blacks, whites, Mexicans,
Asians.
and Asians. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, maybe the Arabs probably snuck up on niggas a little bit too. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. We'll throw that in there. Okay. And let's say they divide a large amount of wealth to every group. Do you think every group will move the same way?
Jedi.
Yeah, as the
Juices?
Juices did.
No, because they use their scripture to hold structure in their people.
So with that being said, black people would be given reparations, which I don't think all black people deserve, because every black person was a fucking descendant of a slave.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go. You got to kind of, like you said, it kind of comes with your family lineage. You know what I'm saying? You got like the African people that come here, the Jamaicans, well, Haitians need something because they actually pay motherfuckers. That shit's crazy. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying the Haitians need something. They the only motherfuckers that freed themselves and got to pay their oppressors because they freed themselves.
Gangsta.
I ain't never heard no shit like that. And they got to pay these motherfuckers for hundreds of years just because you whooped our ass. I never heard no shit like
You
that.
show respect there, right? Like, we're gonna free you because we don't want no more smoke.
That's power,
We don't
man.
want to keep.
But
fighting.
you gonna have to pay us though.
And that's power.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why even if you win by force, like the old fashioned way, right? You won the old fashioned way by way of swords
you
and
still
swords
lost
and
for
guns and
generations.
stuff. They had the French, right?
Yep.
They had so much power, right? So much this type of power that they boxed them in and hit them with the it was like chess for them. You know what I'm saying? And now they paying them like what restitution for like the rest of
I don't know how long.
how long is that gonna
I don't
be?
know it's gonna long be, but I just know they still paying that dollar. They still on that dime.
Feel
You know
me?
what I'm saying?
So what do you think black people in today's age would do with that much power? You think we can all just turn into Marcus and do right?
I mean, every tree has bad apples. Hold on now.
I mean, he
Hold on now. Every tree has bad apples, brother. Every apple on the tree is not sweet.
That's fine, but we're not talking about all the other apples.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about our apples. I'm not talking about other apples. I'm talking about our specific tree, motherfucker. All right, our tree is vast and big. It's gonna be great apples on this tree, but every apple you pick from this motherfucker is not gonna satisfy you.
But don't you think internal training and education and self accountability will benefit us? Because the juices,
It will.
They have scriptures. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's what kind of reminds us. Black people kind of all over the place when it comes to religion.
Yes.
So we can't really use that as a way to
to
use that. So then there's infrastructure. There's
I mean, it would have to go back to how you raise your children too. I mean, you have to teach,
Big time.
You have to teach the kids. That's the most important part. Is what you teach them so they can carry on what you taught them, so they can conduct themselves a certain way in society. But if people don't teach their kids properly, you know what I'm saying, you can't keep the message alive. The reason why they
Jedi.
do what they do is because also how they raise their kids. You see what I'm saying? To keep it going. We used to have our little structure, what we did have, but as the generations deteriorate because we had younger mothers and we had to rely on grandmothers and they're old and tired. So the grandmother can't discipline the kids the way the young mother and the young father supposed to because they're old and tired. You see what I'm saying? So eventually you're going to walk over your grandmother. You see what I'm saying? She's going to be tired. You see what I'm saying?
my grandma.
Drop the mic, Rakeem.
My grandma was hearing her just say old and tired, and we would have run over her. She would have backhanded.
Let me explain. Some grandmothers are strong, sturdy hands. But other ones, it depends on the generations. Because you have these kids keep having kids, and they try to push them off on the previous generation. Not really raise them. You see what I'm saying? Because they're still learning in life, and they're not taught properly.
Experience.
Yeah,
and
if you don't raise your kids, you have
They
to
become
raise your
beta baby.
Yes. And that's the problem. And that's the cycle of our destruction to a certain extent because of having such young birth. You see what I'm saying?
So even that being said, you're 100% right. But even that being said, what do you think would happen? We were giving reparations right now.
Right now, like I said,
There's not all good apples on the tree. You're gonna have people that's gonna do great things with that. Great things. It's gonna change, and it's gonna change the family lives for generations. Then you're gonna have some people. They're gonna fuck that money up, and that's okay.
So do you don't think the powers that be is not going to still monetize it?
I mean,
Like,
the problem is they think you're so stupid. They gonna think you're just gonna fuck it up anyway. They don't have to do too much. They believe. Let me explain. They believe we're so stupid. We'll do their job for them.
They do not.
I'm trying to tell you
that. They thought we were so stupid. They wouldn't do the things they do to keep us submissive.
Let me explain.
Hold on. If they thought we were so stupid, they wouldn't do the things to keep us submissive. They know what we're capable of.
No, because that goes back to you give a nigga an inch, you run him out. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but even still, if someone was so stupid, they wouldn't pay no attention.
But the problem
that's why the phrase is act dumb, play dumb. But
yeah, but that's the problem. It used to be like that. Now niggas is actually dumb. See, that's the problem. You see, I'm telling you because we're coming from a generation of lack of education. So you don't have a lot of people that made it through those little gaps. You have a lot of people that fall. It's going to keep happening. When they came up with that no child should be left behind, all they did was just keep passing, till you get kicked out of school.
So America is pretty much giving reparations to different nations, stuff like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
As much money as they're giving these other nations, America's still top dog.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would that mean for black people? You think we're gonna rise above the people who are in power because they give us $250 billion?
That's the point.
They're gonna monetize it and make sure that here's your money, or we're gonna let you do this. We're gonna let you do this.
But that's the point. You're thinking that black people want to rise above them. We don't.
Of course they do.
No. We just want.
Listen,
No.
Black people are not this kumbaya.
No.
Why do you think black people are this kumbaya race and racial?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But the whole that's the reason that they believe that our whole purpose in life is just the question. That's not all black people's purpose in life. Motherfuckers just want to live, be treated like a decent human being, make decent money, and have a good fucking life. Not all people think about, I want to triumph and destroy white people. That's not every black person's dream when they fucking wake up.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying. So I'm saying that that's not everybody's aspiration is to get above the next man. Some people just want to get their just piece of the cake.
So let me ask you this.
Bars.
Let me ask you this. If black people was a rising power above all other races and be in a position that most whites are, how do you think that's going to look? We're going to pat everybody else on the back, bring them up with us?
No, you have some petty motherfuckers because they look down on you. That comes with that because you was looked down upon for so long.
I don't think it's confident. I think power corrupts. I think any race that's put in a
But you got to understand why power corrupts. If a weak person gets power, what happens? Like that's like when the bitch nigga becomes a cop, right?
Power corrupts because without
you about to ask
when you have that much power, you're going to be corrupted because no one can touch you. You know what I'm saying? Imagine this. Imagine you wake up the next day, $1 trillion, a McLaren, mansion, blue check on Instagram.
But see, you're saying the money's going to change me. That's who I already was. The money just amplified my characteristics.
Okay, but good people can be corrupted just as well. Like that's why the racial superiority happens with any race. People got this weird thing where it's like black people aren't racist. We can't do no harm. We can't do no wrong. What the fuck are you talking about? Black people do racist shit just as much as anybody else.
Prejudice.
Black people racist. So let me ask you something. If a bunch of white boys jump on a black dude, what is that?
I don't believe when I see 4 white people jump on a black dude, I will not automatically assume that it's a racist thing going on. But if they're sitting there stumping my man out, calling him a bunch of niggas and shit, I'm assuming it's a racist activity, and I'm going to go help my man.
So let me ask you this. Name 3 things white people do that you consider racist.
3 things?
3 things.
Besides act racist?
3 things, whatever.
You got act racist.
Okay, act racist. You got to be a little more specific.
What you mean?
A little more specific. What are racist things?
Hey, you say Pacific?
Pacific.
Yeah, you be more Pacific, King, please.
Pacific, okay.
Specific.
Whatever.
Say it. No, say it. Say it.
No.
Okay.
I heard myself. I need your damn help.
One is racial profiling.
Okay.
I believe the being scared of all black people. I believe that's a racist thing. Like, why are you so threatened by black people just because you see black people? And what else we got? I will go with the blocking of employment of certain jobs. I guess that I would have to say systematic racism. You know, the ability to just block black people in certain avenues and ventures.
Well, that's a more of a broad scale of things. That's why I said more minute things.
Let me see what else I got. I mean, besides,
so you got scared of acting scary as hell. You got what else?
What else I say?
Racial profiling.
Racial profiling, and one more.
What else we got here that they can do to me that I deem being racist? I mean, I guess you could say calling me a nigger, but you know, it is what it
so.
What we call that, hate speech?
So, hate speech, fine. So, if an Asian from China was to do that towards a Korean, no, let's say North Korea was being that towards South Korea, would that be
I don't
racist?
understand that racism. Their racism is very weird.
Racism is racism.
No. I said I don't understand their racism.
There's no their racism.
Let me explain why I say that. Because they all look the same, and I don't know why they're doing that.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry. Oh, Lord. I mean, not all look the same, but y'all are very similar in features. I say it that way. I apologize if I offended you.
Bro,
I apologize.
Yeah,
I mean, I literally asked a Japanese person.
So let me ask.
Hold on, I'm just saying. I asked a Japanese person
Let him clean it
and
up.
a Chinese person, what's the difference between them? They hit me with the hair. That was the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. The hair. I didn't know. I like, bro. That's just trash. Yeah, the hair. That's all he had.
Okay, man, that's a lot to unpack there, but I don't
you was making a point.
I don't know what to do with that.
You making a point, Kanji. You making a point, man.
Okay. Jesus Christ, dude. So those 3 things you named, hell, 4 things. We'll go with that. Same motherfuckers all look the same.
Hell no.
Jesus.
But
If another race does that to another race, and that other race they're doing it to don't have power, that would be racism, right?
I mean, they have to have power to have racism. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but what's
That
considered?
wouldn't be. That just be a form of prejudice. Just that you know.
How is it?
This might be because, like, all right. So I think there's a divide here as far as, I mean, and this happens
It's the
all.
way we use the word.
It's the
racism.
way we use the word racism.
We use it too much of a broad for not technically what it really means. We just say a motherfucker racist because they're treating you a certain way. It's not that they're treating you a certain way. Racism is supposed to be systematic.
No, this is what I'm gonna say. There is a definition for racism, meaning essentially discrimination. There's or not discrimination. It's actually the belief that one's own race is superior to all of the races.
Thank you.
So that's one. One second. That's one meaning. That's your interpretation of racism. Keem's understanding of racism is more on a systematic scale because there is a place. I mean, that's been recorded also as far as the meaning to racism. I call it systematic racism, but it is now the meaning of racism also. So both you two are just using 2 different meanings of the same word. So so for you to understand Keem better, you're gonna have to understand what you're gonna have to understand what he means by the word racism, and then operate under that, guys.
Well, I have that understanding, but the problem is people hide under the whole power thing. So what is a white demographic that you're aware of that do not have power?
A white demographic.
A white demographic
trailer
that
trash?
does not have power.
Trailer trash is a demographic.
I didn't know that. See, that's not trailer trash. Not demographic. That's just the lowest level of white people in poverty.
Okay.
So right. So what white?
I mean, they still have their
got
white
the
privilege.
Irish.
They still
got
have
the-
their white privilege because they're white.
That privilege is not power.
No, privilege is a form of power.
By that definition, then we have power.
No, we don't have.
There's black privilege.
Where's black privilege?
Wait, really?
I-
If me and a white dude walk in the hood, who's more likely to get sold drugs? Me or the white guy?
The white guy.
Wrong. They're gonna think he a cop.
No, that's to a certain extent, depending on how he looks. But
No,
if he
that's
looks like
no
a
fuck
normal
up,
white
no.
dude, like say if he like a normal white dude from college, just a normal white dude from college, you're not gonna think it's like this white dude just wants to come.
We stand in the basketball court, and I'm standing there, and they standing there, who the more likely gonna think can play ball and get picked first? Me or the white guy?
It depends on the purpose. Because most times I pick no. It depends on the purpose.
You dancing around the
No,
question.
I'm not dancing around the question because that goes to the purpose.
Privilege.
Because when I pick a fucking team, I see a white dude and he like he can fucking shoot. So I may pick the white dude over you because you may be a big, tall, goofy looking motherfucker. I may pick the white dude because I may see, hey, I probably saw him over there shooting that ball. He was over there knocking at least about down 40 of them bitches. I'm gonna go with the white dude because he can shoot.
I mean,
I'm gonna go with the fucking white dude.
we got. I want to be charitable here, and I want to. We have to understand that you have no understanding of either one of these players. Only thing you have to go off of is their race. That's what he's saying.
I pick white people because I know that they know how to shoot the ball.
Okay.
I don't like he know how to shoot the ball.
There go personal again.
No, I just said.
He said you look like. No, hold on, Crunchy.
My bad, I apologize.
All right, don't do that. All right, you know what that looks like, Rob. You lucky I had a mic on you. You lucky I had a mic on you.
It depends on the.
Isn't that amazing?
As I'm saying, it depends on the black person.
I'm challenging your notion of privilege. You stated that privilege is power.
It is a form of power.
It's a form of power, but by that definition, then black people does have power. And if black people does have power,
if you want to say black people are racist, I'm not saying. If you want to say black people are racist against white people in basketball, so be it. Yes, we are. We believe we're superior.
That's not what I was getting at.
How did you want to say
That's
that?
not what I was getting at. What
Okay,
I'm getting at
Okay,
is
sweet.
if what you're saying. Okay, I believe black people could be racist because we have set forms of power. If you take the lowest demographic of a white person, which we'll say trailer trash, right? We have more power than them. We could do shit they can't do. The fucking bums and hobos live in the fucking tin cans, right? So if we jump on them, so if a bunch of black dudes who have power, they say they a lawyer, a judge, and I don't know, a cop, jump on a white guy who's trailer trash, who got nothing but the fucking meth he's snorting on, is that racism?
If you jumped on them just because they're white methods, yes.
So thus black people can be racist.
Yes, yeah. But you have to have that key element of power.
Okay, but now there's a problem with the power thing. Power is more subjective. It's a perceived thought. See what I'm saying? If I'm working a job that's paying $50,000, you're working probably $30,000, I can move and shake how I want. Do I have more power than you?
It depends. I mean, yes, because technically you make more money than me, so therefore you're more valuable than me. So therefore
Right.
you
So-
have
so-
a level of power that I don't have.
So if you're saying privilege is a form of power, and there is such thing as black privilege, because there are things we can do other races can't do. There are things we can get away with other races can't get away with, especially on communities. I guarantee if I walk in the hood and ask to buy drugs, I'm not going to get no pushback. If a white dude do it, they're going to be like, nah, nigga, keep it moving.
I mean, like I said, it depends on how you look.
So that's still black privilege. And
I'm
with black
just saying.
privilege comes power.
I'm
Based
just
off
saying,
your,
bro, I see
based off what you're saying, where privilege comes power. Where power becomes the ability to be racist. So thus black people can be racist.
Yeah, but in most senses, we're not racist.
Hold on,
because
where's
we're
my
black
dog DeMarco? You've been giving his dog the fucking
Said Dr. Marco. All right. Ooh,
Nah,
there you go. Congratulations, you deserved it, Kanji. Drop the mic on him. What's
But I'm
up?
saying though, in most situations, black people don't have this power. Now you can say we have a level of power entertainment because it's dominantly.
Power is power.
No,
What a little bit or
I'm saying we don't have these areas of power that matters. Let me explain. You're talking about hood shit.
I'm not talking about hood shit. I'm talking
just
about-
saying that was your example.
But
you
there are it's not just black people. Black people have a sort of power. If you skip Dragon Ball Z, right? You got Krillin, Tien, Yamcha. Do they not have power?
They have power.
Right. You got Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo.
they don't have
You have
power
Goku.
compared to those guys.
Right. You don't. Exactly.
They don't have
Right.
power.
You don't. So now, do we have power compared to the powers that be or the government? Of course not. But do we have power? 100%. And thus we have power. Thus we can be racist because we have perceived power. Because of we, with our power, was to jump on a demographic of white, Mexican, Latino who don't have power. You can't say we're not being racist because we have more than what they have.
Boy.
But I'm saying, where do this so-called power you say we have, right? where does it matter where we can influctuate a group of people and cause detriment to their lives?
With those that don't have power.
Now I'm saying, where do we have it? I'm asking, like, give us an example of this black power you say we have that we control another dynamic of another ethnic group.
Ooh, ethnic group. So as a group, you saying?
Yes.
But what would that matter if with a little power we can do something? Like, hold on.
You basically comparing me, I have power because I can break a twig, but I can't break a 2x4. You would respect me if I could break a 2x4, but not the twig. Because anybody can break the twig.
Okay, that's a good point. But my thing is that regardless, there's still power. That's black people still be racist. My only argument I'm making, because you could say that, but black people can be racist. That's all I'm saying.
Look, anybody can be racist with the key element of power. But I'm saying,
if everyone has some form of power, thus you could be racist.
I'm asking you to give me an example of this form of power you say we have that we can control a demographic or an ethnic group. So I'm saying, give me an example where black people dictate power over another ethnic group like how they do it over us.
You talking about in the States or you talking about in the world?
Just in whatever you got.
So you say so black people have no power at all anywhere.
Well, you got to ask it. No, they don't got that. I'm sorry. That's for everybody else. So they don't got that.
So wait, so would you say the Egyptians were being racist towards the Hebrews?
What, because they had saved them to work for what
the
they
Egyptians,
did?
no. The Egyptians didn't save anybody.
I said the slave.
Yeah.
That's what it said.
Would that be racism?
I mean, they only
Wasn't that them controlling?
Yeah,
so that's black people can be racist.
You know what I'm saying? But bro, you're going back to eat. But we're talking about today's time.
What the hell? Do you think? Let
me explain something to you, Rob. You lost a little bit.
Hotel Rwanda.
That has something
the
to do
Hutus
with
Watus.
Bro, hold on.
Those are two different of blacks.
Bro, you need to do your research. That has something to do with whole Queen Elizabeth. There's a lot of bullshit going on around that. Let me explain.
Who was given power by? Who was given power?
We're getting off topic. I told you to give me an example.
I just did.
No, you didn't. You went back to fucking Egypt and fucking Hebrews.
Okay, Hotel Rwanda.
I'm just fucking, bro. That don't got shit to do with black Americans, cuz. I'm talking about in here, bro. We talking about And we not talking about black Americans.
No,
I'm talking about Africans and fucking.
They not black?
Not black Americans. What they go through over there ain't got shit to do with the fuck we go through over here.
I'll help stop. But that's some hypocritical bullshit.
They have their own set of problems. They have their own set of problems, and we have our own set of problems over here.
No, stop. I've had discussions with you. You've used examples of black people in different parts of the world when you expounded on.
We're talking, bro. But we're
I get
talking
a
about
fucking sentence
because,
out.
Bro, you're not because you're getting lost. I told you to give me of today's time a black ethnic group that has power and to dictate and disrupt another ethnic group in today's society. You gave me a bunch of bullshit from fucking 80 years ago and 1,000 years ago.
What does it matter?
It does matter because you're.
So what you're saying?
That doesn't matter no more. Them fucking people are dead. I'm talking about what can you do today that you can control another ethnic group with your power that you say we have today. So you're talking about shit that happens millions of fucking years ago.
All right, Dr. Umar Johnson, you repeated that like 4 times already.
Because you're fucking lost.
So what you're saying is black people used to be able to be racist, but now they can't.
They have power then, if you want to say that.
Okay, so does black people can be racist?
Bro, we're them fuck. I don't care no.
That's the
point. All right, so
that's the only point I'm proving.
That pretty much solved it. So, Kanji, through your lens, you're saying that given the power, black people can practice a form of racism where they can essentially hold another group under their thumb, systematically and again, I'm not talking about individual people, maybe not even 3 or 4 people, but I'm talking about like an entire genealogy of people in America. Because let's not forget, this is the Chicago Black Delegation. This is not the World Black Delegation. This is not a Pan-African channel or a podcast, right? We're talking specifically about Black Americans. Some living in Chicago, but the fact of the matter is, I will say yes, we do have the capacity to exert power or essentially bite off more than what we're supposed to chew in given situations and stuff like that. We can't practice some forms of narcissism in a group-like manner. Now, the thing with Keem, now I agree with Keem in saying that Black Americans currently does not have that ability. Especially because we don't have the power. But I will also, especially the monetary power. But I will argue to say that, given that we did have the money, given that we got reparations, given that we were given agency, right, to essentially practice capitalism to beg your pardon? To our heart's content. To our heart's content, yeah. Granted, we were given that opportunity. I say that we still wouldn't be on that for the simple fact that we don't have that population. You know what I mean? Right. We only make up 14% of the as far as the U.S. census is concerned. Yeah. We only make up 14% of the United States population, and whites make up 60%. I mean, the numbers alone indicated we just can't. We can't do any of that stuff. So, in my opinion, the purpose of this podcast, and from my angle at least, is to tell Black people that we need to essentially work in our own spaces and build our own wealth within our own space. Don't worry so much about what other groups are doing. Don't I understand everybody's angry about what's been done to us over generations and stuff, what's been done to our ancestors, all that stuff. I completely understand, but we have to put a lot of that stuff to this. Not everything. Don't get me wrong. Put a lot of that stuff to the side and focus on what's actually important, and that's essentially building up our own resources.
In terms to the number comment, wasn't the original question like if they let us flourish, wouldn't that include our population?
That would include our population. That also would include what did Kanye West call, or Ye call the Black Holocaust?
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood, yeah. So that's another form of systemic racism.
But how is Planned Parenthood a form of systemic racism when that is a choice?
And that's.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get,
man, that's a deep conversation, and I want to talk about it, but I can't get into it today.
I mean, we don't got to, but you can argue and be like, oh, it's put on us early. You can argue, oh, we're influenced to do it, but at the end of the day, you're still making a choice.
Yes, there's
no white person putting a gun to a Black woman's head, telling her to take your ass in there.
You're right. You know what? I'm not gonna talk about this right now. I'm not gonna get into details right now, but we are gonna talk about it. We are gonna have an episode about Planned Parenthood and its impact on the Black Americans. But my simple answer to that is brainwashing. Let's move on.
It's the power of influence.
So
y'all be wilding, man.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But hey, we gotta talk. Somebody gotta say something about it. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think needs to be done in order to essentially grab this hold or reclaim Black power, right? What do y'all think must be done in general? What must happen in order for Black people to obtain full what's the word I want to use? Agency over Black power. What rightfully belongs to ourselves.
I mean, we have to get back to what we used to do. We have to get back to making organizations that helped out communities, self-help groups, institutions that's not dependent on white people. Encourage more colleges and universities to start Black study programs to help mobilize Black voters and improve racial pride and self-esteem amongst our culture.
Did you just read that?
Let him read it, man.
That's cheating. Well, that's cheating. That is cheating. No, it's not. The whole time I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, Keem hitting that shit. God damn. Oh, shit.
Hey, he was sitting what the...
Ooh, I'm like, God damn, I'm thinking like, damn, I hope my answer that more. What the fuck? Hey, Drake.
He called us a man Drake.
That's my notes, bitch. Hey, goddamn notes.
I respect it though. I respect it though.
I respect it. You didn't have a pen and pad. Nobody told you say we was freestyling, bitch.
I've been freestyling. I had a fucking hour, man.
All right, what y'all got?
Oh my God, go ahead, Dolo.
Jesus.
Okay, now at this point, I think I'm a little more inclined to kanji. Like, I would say, for starters, always don't fall into that victimhood mentality, man. Meaning, don't let being Black be the reason your greatness doesn't shine. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes with being black. I don't think we got to talk about all that right now. But one major thing I do think we need to talk about is the predatory loans. We are number one on the list at getting hit with those, and getting hit with a predatory loan early on can affect your life
Very bad.
dramatically, drastically.
Not just your life, but your kids' lives also.
Kids' lives, everybody around you, right? I would say, don't give up. It's a lot of hardship out here, man. I mean, whether it's I kind of think we're all talking about kind of different things here. We're talking about black power. We're talking about the powers that be rigging the game, right? That's a totally different conversation. But again, all of this still trickles down to all of us at the end of the day. So you're fighting all of this day in and day out. Just don't give up, man. Don't be the bitch ass nigga from episode 1 that gives up and falls to the system like they want you to.
Agreed. Solutions, Kanji.
Okay, well, top of the dome. You know what I'm saying? Not some Drake ass niggas in here.
Don't start me singing. I'm light skinned, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, we know you wake up with a tear in your eye.
Oh, yeah.
But so
Right.
Beta baby.
what was the question again, Marcus? I love my turn.
You got solutions for Black Americans right now to reclaim Black power? Wish I said it like that the first time. That was way more smooth.
I don't really have an answer for that because if we've never had power, what are we reclaiming?
Yeah, we never
Are we
have.
talking about in the States?
What I'm saying is like I believe there's such things as Black power, right? And I feel like if Black power were to, if we just allow Black power, I'm sorry, the only way Black power is gonna grow is if Black power is in our hands and not in the hands of certain groups that we would identify as our oppressors.
Oh, okay.
And Jedi's.
Stop.
Well, I don't know. That seems like an oxymoron of a statement because if black people don't have power and we're trying to get power, but we have power.
I mean, when
That's
with the
a whole
power
nother
part,
thing.
I believe he's trying to.
I'll make it simple. Black people need to stop simping.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't argue against that.
Yo.
All right.
That was allowed. Okay.
So yeah. Okay, so here we're gonna get into a few quick videos that I kind of found around YouTube, man. That's kind of some more or less pertaining to the subject. And so we spent a good part of an hour and some change discussing what Black Power is. I want to shed just a little bit of light on what Black Power is not. So, Peep Gang.
Ran train. We forcibly used to white girls, and we used to sneak crack in the white girls' cigarettes to fuck them. We didn't sneak nothing in they drink. You lying on me. We didn't do the black girl like that. Only white girl, white boy. Now get mad now.
That nigga wild. So you kind of get where what I'm getting at with this, right? He's talking about essentially exacting revenge on, with a little pretense, which is kind of necessary. Charleston White was essentially built up to this point through his anger against white people, especially with him being Generation X and him more or less being brought up with this rampant animosity between blacks and whites. We lost our leaders. The economic climate. Then there's a rise of like the poisoning of black culture by way of drugs, crack cocaine, and maybe which also influenced the rap culture, which also influenced the party culture, which it all spiraled out of control, right? So all of this to say that this person, Charles White, that made this video bragging about performing these acts upon white women, not to say it was it's not to say it was an excuse, is that he's a product of a really messed up environment. Again, not to excuse him of anything that he's done. It's just that when you kind of understand everything that kind of transpired during that time, something like this kind of makes some sense. But What I'm arguing to say right now is us practicing this whole forced. How do I word this? Us essentially trying to act upon our oppressors, what's been acted upon us, is ultimately leading down a path of self-destruction. That's what I believe. Any objections?
No. Because
Okay.
what he's doing would be considered racist if it was a white guy doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he would be considered racist because Charleston White has power and influence.
In that context, with that, well, hold on. Hold on. I know what he's saying. Within the confines of that room, he's exerting his power over that woman.
I got you. Okay, yeah, I guess yeah, whatever. All right. Same type of. It's not.
It's not. But I get I get it. You're talking about the influence of an entire group of people. But within the confines, okay. Just for everybody to understand, you know what I'm saying?
But is racism defined as that, as the influence of a group of people?
Because it's not. I don't believe it's a group. It's just the belief. It's either the belief that a group of people. It's the belief that your group of people is superior to other groups of people, or it's the systemic approach to it is. And I don't know it word for word, right?
Yeah. I got
That's
you.
not a racist black man, bro.
Huh?
That's not a racist black man.
This man right here.
That's a racist dolphin.
You're an idiot.
Dolphins. I'm sorry. Dolphins running wild out there. So they need some type of police force out there. It's crazy out there. It's crazy out there.
All right. Okay.
That's why I don't.
All right.
I didn't know the Sharks is actually holding shit down, and they actually the good guys. They always
brothers-
seem like the Sharks,
our brothers
are
in
bad
the ocean.
guys, but it's the goddamn Dolphins.
It's been the Dolphins the whole time.
The whole
Man.
time, the pretty little smiley motherfuckers are snakes.
Like if he gave him a blowhole, I couldn't tell the difference.
Okay, so racism is defined as
Moving on.
racism is defined as prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is typically one that is in minority or marginalized.
Typically, right? But not excluded to, right?
Right, not excluded to. So that's what I'm saying, based off the definition, black people can be racist. There's not a word in there that says power.
Let me explain something to you, bro.
Real quick, man. Closing arguments. Closing arguments, please. No, closing. No, let us know, man.
I'm done, man. We argue for another 40.
Yeah, for real.
But I would say that y'all, I really did appreciate that back and forth between y'all two, because I really do believe you, Kanji, represent a really good. I think you, how do I explain this? Represented the words of somebody that comes from like your argument or talking points or your side of things, because there's a lot of for right now we'll call them right wing or conservative conservative black people that believe that black people can be racist using the words that you use, and the king represents the other half that doesn't believe that to be so, because it's just too small scale for it to mean anything, for it to change anything, and to ultimately influence the culture or Americans as a whole.
He said what racism was, an institution. Black people don't have any institutions to dominate this, what we so-called racism. I know we have the individual. I know what the fuck you just said.
Beta baby.
But you also gotta understand that racism is like a tree branch word, because the word, like I said, prejudice is in that statement what you said. And we're technically prejudiced. It's in there, like you said.
Yeah.
Closing statements, Kanji. Please don't make a 40-minute argument.
I got you.
All right, good, perfect. So, we all agree that this is not the way to go about doing things.
My closing argument, that nigga a dolphin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You just took my thunder, man. God damn, Dolo.
Shame, Dolo. Shame,
man.
My thunder.
All right, so, man. It's important that we all. It's important that we all understand what Black Power isn't. It's very much so important to understand what Black Power is. And in my opinion, the only solution or the best solution for Black people it's communication, cooperation, compromise between thought groups, focus on Black empowerment, and we got to start small but dream big. Teach the children and resist the toleration of exploitation. That it would be the ultimate. That ultimately would be the way we reclaim Black power for ourselves, and in this inclination or in this implementation. We'll shoot the sky's the limit as far as Black people is concerned. Who knows where what we'll stop at if we essentially monetize ourselves, or if we profited off of ourselves. Just imagine. I don't know everything about basketball, but I would say a big portion of basketballs or in the NBA's talent is by us, right? Black Americans,
Obviously.
and just imagine if those owners were also Black. Just imagine if those owners were the Blacks that played before them. You know what I'm saying? And just imagine what that would mean for Black Americans, instead of it just being essentially being ran and operated by the same people that essentially started it almost, right? So anybody else want any closing statements regarding the Black power?
I don't know, man. I'm good to go.
No. My arguments is just self-improvement, taking accountability, don't play victimhood.
We all agree on that.
I agree on that. So yeah, man. This has been a spectacular episode, I would say.
And that is the night. Yes, we are. Black Delegation. We are going tonight. God damn it, those acres full of they saw Casper. I'm out of here.
Ours.
Nigga, your fucking shoes ran out of style. Nigga, the fucking battery ran out of power right now.
My pussy aches.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate y'all stopping by checking us out. We're our normally scheduled programming will be running on Saturday nights, 9:00 Central Time. I don't know what time zone y'all in. Y'all gonna have to figure that out on your using Google. Meantime, man, catch y'all on the flip side. It's been Black Delegation. Peace, love, and big prosperity.